Hey y'all, why pay for a tattoo when the melanoma is free? It's so hard today. Um, as James Hansen said, global warming isn't a prediction, it's happening. And in this speech for today, I want to talk about preserving and conserving the environment, which is close to my heart because nature is the foundation of our health. I believe that global warming is happening due to the greed of people, like polluting the environment, and this makes our health deteriorate. Having witnessed the effects of pollution in the community and seen how pollution affects our health, uh, I have volunteered to clean up the streets and help people and also teach people the importance of conserving our environment. Scientists agree that conserving the environment is crucial and we should reduce polluting the environment, that is in industrialization, urbanization, and agriculture, which affect the environment negatively. So I'm going to borrow a few minutes of your time to inform you the effects of human activities of our environment, and I'm going to talk about how this is affected through industrialization. Second, I'm going to talk about urbanization, and then last I'll talk about agriculture on how this affects the environment. Okay, first I'll talk about industrialization. The article Environment, Industry Pollution, Abatement by Emily Falk, written on April 23, 2024, states that whatever we consume and do impacts the world we live in. Air pollution is caused by, for example, smoke and emissions generated by fossil fuels. We have so many industries making different kind of food, like let's say like cooking oil, breads, and these industries pollute the environment through their smoke emissions and the carbon dioxide that goes to the air, and this carbon dioxide makes the ultraviolet radiation delays, they cannot reach to us, and this is a very bad thing because we cannot get the vitamin D that we need from the sun. So secondly, the soil is contaminated with this lead from toxic chemicals and heavy metals that contaminate the crops we eat. So even sometimes we don't know what we're eating because most people just plant crops and they use the land that has toxic chemicals, and that's why when you buy fruits from the supermarket, you just have to wash them. The vegetables, you have to wash them good so it can be good for your health. And also treating the industrial waste to remove the toxic components is a very good example, especially like these chemicals that are going to the air. It's good to treat the industrial waste. For example, like those people who make car industries, car parts and all that, they need to remove the toxic components so that even when other people touch the parts, they're not unhealthy for our bodies. Secondly, I'll talk about urbanization. In the article Conservation, Environment, Impact Assessment by Dr. Emily Greenfield, published on February 21st, 2024, explains that there's a lot of pressure on the natural ecosystem. Atmospheric consequences due to air pollution. Yeah, most people have moved from rural areas to urban areas for search of jobs, and this has really created a lot of congestion, and it has led to a lot of air pollution because there's too many people and the air is not enough because it's congested. And also the renewable sources can reduce the carbon area footprint. Like if there's so many people in one area, the CO2, it cannot be able to come to us, it cannot be able to reach to us because there's too much contamination from these people moving in and out of the rural areas. So I would prefer that people not move from rural areas, because rural areas are the best, especially because there's trees, there's everything. The air is good. Even though there's no jobs at rural areas, people should like look for something else to do instead of just moving to the urban areas, because it's creating a lot of congestion, and we cannot get the oxygen that we need, because when there's too much vehicles moving around, because they have to transport people to their jobs, there's so many emissions, and this CO2 gets blocked. It goes up to the sky, and ultraviolet rays cannot reach us as well because of a lot of pollution and noise. Yeah. So my third topic will be about agriculture. And I checked the article World Atlas by Antonia Siljak, which was published on June 16, 2020. States that pesticides and use of fertilizers when farming releases gases in the air which are unfavorable for our health. This is, for example, the deforestation, cutting of trees and burning them to create land for farming, leads to land damage and pollution to our environment. And this is not healthy for us at all, because when you cut trees are where people get where the people get shade, like they want to go and just have a picnic and just rest there. And also it's the home for the birds, so you see the birds cannot have anywhere to live or anything to do, like they don't have a habitat, and that's so wrong for for environment and for everybody. And also science, the ecosystem, when we breathe in oxygen, we also need CO2, like so the oxygen comes in and we get out CO2. This CO2 is needed for the plants, so when there's no plants to take the CO2, it goes to the air, and this is not good for our health. And also the fertilizers and the pesticides that they use in the farms is not good for us, because it has a lot of toxic chemicals, and it's really not healthy for us. It's making people get diseases like cancer and all that. And that's why we have to wash our plants and wash our fruits, wash our vegetables, so that we can eat the right healthy things, and try to advocate for people to use less fertilizers and maybe use like manure from the farm, like from the cows. That's much better. It's more organic than using the pesticides and the fertilizers. Okay, so in conclusion, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about how these things affect our human activities and how it affects our environment, and how people should just try and reduce these things, which is good for our health. Okay, yeah. So when we just first talked about industrialization and its effects on our environment, then we discussed about the urbanization and effects of our environment, then finally about agriculture. I think most of you have already understood the good thing about taking care of the environment. And when you're out there, you'll always remember how to take care of the environment, and you'll always remember the bad effects that these activities cause to the environment. So you try to use better ways to protect our environment. Thank you so much for taking this time to listen to me, and you all have a good evening. Thank you so much. Bye.